All of us, when we look around the world, I think we see the reality. The violence, the hurt, the pain, the suffering. And it's from many different things. It's from war, it's from terrorism, it's from small hurts that can be done. It's an international language. It's a language of the heart and of the soul. It can build bridges. It builds understanding. It can bring us together. So I find that music does bring peace.
It may be one song, but it does something so big.
I think that right now, people are ready. I mean, people are ready for a response to the violence that's happening.
If you see what's going on around the world, you feel like we need music now more than ever before. I've never thought of a better way we can heal the world except through music.
Gula gitu, berjalan dulu. Tuh juga tuh sih, oh, ini jalan ini.
So my wife is a dental hygienist, and the first, like we met, she was my hygienist.
Oh no.
And so, you know, what brings you in today? Well, I've been having bad breath. So whenever people say, what's your opening line? That's it. And then I was, you know, I thought she was really cute and I wanted to ask her out, but I'm like, how could I ask her out? She knows my mouth.
I don't think about my little community as being my house and my neighbor's house. You know, now I understand that this neighborhood encompasses the whole. I knew Ken Wakia from a mutual friend. She was a student of ours, and she sang in Ken Wakia's choir. And festival singers, 20 members of festival singers came to Nairobi. Worked with the Nairobi Chamber Choir. We combined to sing 4 or 5 numbers, and so the last thing that we did that day was Ukutula. And we had done the piece, you know, we'd practiced it as festival singers. But when Maureen stood in the center of the room and we spread out around her, because that's what they did, and we were standing amongst the members of the Nairobi Chamber Choir, and we experienced it. Pretty much all of us were in tears by the end of it.
It's always a delight working with Maureen. First of all, just because she's so talented. She is a fantastic human being.
My mother taught me how to sing. I remember one song that she taught me and I've never forgotten it. Achim walo malonam cho gawinjie kayo chalelo maringo gigari nyambo sayego.
When you work with Maureen, you feel like you bring music to life, because that's what she does to music.
Malogot cho gawinjie kayo chalelo maringo gimeli nyamo sayego. Yeah, that's one for her.
So Maureen is a big part of this, and the way she's the soloist in its solo and choir, and made a huge impression on me that moment. And then Ken and I talked, and a choir that I direct in U.S. came, and then we did a bunch of concerts in Nairobi 2 years ago, and then they came to U.S. and did some concerts in U.S.
And then they went to Oxford, Mississippi, and during their concert at Oxford, Mississippi, Ken talked about AVoice4Peace, but he didn't know the name of it then, because it was this is when it all started. And he introduced Ukatula, and he said, wouldn't it be wonderful if choirs all over the world would just stop what they're doing on September 21st, which is the International Day of Peace, and sang Ukatula.
You know, I never really believe in like instant big gains. I do believe in many little gains. And I feel that after the 21st, if we have 2 people talking about peace, we'll be extremely successful.
Well, as you've been talking, I can't help but to notice your teeth are like perfect. So paid off and married.
You did a good job.
That's the source of the marsh, the green grass you see, the water coming from the ground. It never dries, it's always wet. So, and even the communities, they come to get water from here. See the buffaloes there on the grass, on the green grass?
Oh, yeah.
If you try to look on the little on the right, you see 2 lions.
You know, the Maasai is called his home. Yet you can see all the animals that we would otherwise call dangerous in this place. To call this home and to have all these animals coexisting with humans in itself, for me, is just the exact picture of what could be done if we coexisted together.
Did you sleep well?
Did.
Sentinel Camp is a tented eco-camp set up on the Mara River inside the National Reserve.
Which was the name of the book that you said?
I know the one book was Unbowed.
Okay, Unbowed.
Would you like me to have a quick look?
Yeah, and I'll at least take a picture of the cover. So.
There are no permanent structures in the camp. All our energy is solar. We are fortunate to be in the part of the world that has the highest density of large mammals in the world. And apart from that, you can expect to have what I would say is an unforgettable African experience. Because of the Maasai valuing their customs, their culture, their heritage, they continue to sing in a way that expresses life for them. And so you see very much the lion as a theme coming through in their singing.
The way they did their shoulders and they moved their heads, it just reminded me of how in tune with nature most of our music is. And in school, like we used to always say that in African music, the beat is literally everywhere.
Yeah, yeah.
So when we have ensembles, like African ensembles, different instruments, different voices, different sounds, like right now where we are in the Mara, like in the morning when the sun is rising, at a particular time, one bird starts, then the hippos, then you hear the wind, then the river, then the trees, then all the animals. It's like an ensemble at the same time. I think that's how African music is like, you know? It's like how, you know, different sounds of nature at the same time.
There's the background, the river, the insects, sometimes the wind. And then there are the interruptions, an elephant trumpeting, or a lion roaring, or a hyena laughing. There's movement, a hippo grazing around your tent, an antelope running away in panic from a predator. You'd remember Sentinel for a long time because of the song. It would get into one's heart and be a kind of reminder that it's the language of the soul.
In Africa, music is life. It's something similar that you find across almost all the tribes. We have a different song for victories, a different song for losses, a different song for funerals, a different song for wedding. There's so many things that we kind of have forgotten about our culture, and we have misinterpreted a bit, that you can only find if you like go into the music and then try and understand why. I think we can just take that a step further and, you know, expound on that and just make that something that we are proud of and not something that divides us.
Today, we are faced with a challenge that calls for a shift in our thinking so that humanity stops threatening its life support system. We are called to assist the earth to heal her wounds, and in the process, heal our own. Indeed, to embrace the whole creation in all its diversity, beauty, and wonder. This will happen if we see the need to revive our sense of belonging to a larger family of life with which we have shared our evolutionary process.
Kenya has been really a force for peace and stability in the region. There are some remarkable things that are here. Obviously, it's a beautiful country. It's a country that I think is on an upward arc. It's building democracy. Prosperity is growing, but it also faces real challenges. Among those challenges is the ethnic divisions in the country, the reality that the different tribal groups compete, and sometimes that competition turns violent. And we've seen the terrible post-election violence in 2007, 2008, and in other years, we've seen pre-election violence. So Kenyans need to come together. And one of the specific challenges they face just in the next year is the August 2017 election. And I do think that music can help in advance of that election and during that election to bring Kenyans together. You know, Kenyans love music. One of the things that has really struck me here is I don't think that there is an institution or an organization that doesn't have a choir, where Kenyans don't come together and sing, and they sing beautifully.
We come to Kibera, you just all of a sudden surrounded by beautiful souls and such humanity. These people are just so happy.
Thank you very much. We are here from the Nairobi Chamber Chorus. We are here from Nairobi Chamber Chorus. And we are this year, together with a choir from the United States called Festival Singers of Florida, we are leading a world campaign called A Voice for Peace. A Voice for Peace. And when we say a voice for peace, we simply mean that we would like you either to talk about peace, but for us, we want to sing about peace. Okay?
So we had a really wonderful experience in Kibera, particularly at Magoso Primary School, this school that was, which is doing amazing things for orphaned kids in Kibera, kids that cannot afford to go to school because of economical situations. It's just, you feel like there's something wrong here, you know, because these people are living in situations that I feel are completely inhuman, yet the happiness that they express is unfathomable.
I think conductors are community builders. If a choir is not a great community, then there's not going to be a consistency of message. You know, I talked about the consistency of the conductor. The same has to be true for the choir. There has to be, you know, a universal engagement so that people look at the choir and they see a unified effort. And that's what we'll work on for this whole time that I'm here, is going to be making the message consistent from all aspects. You know, the way we talk, the way we communicate, the way we model, the way we echo chant, the way we gesture, the way our posture, our facial expression, it all has to fit the same message, and that will make us effective conductors.
All right, here we go. So, what were we talking about? Okay, now, pick an A, pick a 1. 1 or A. So, why do you reckon I go with 1 and A? Why did I go with 1 and A? Because I am avoiding any sense of a hierarchy. All of my language is avoiding hierarchy and judgmental language. So A and 1, both of you are equal. 1 starts the alphabet, 1 starts the numbers. And so I just kind of want you to know the way I'm thinking, all right?
I have a sequence that I go through with all my undergrads every year, and that sequence kind of usually moves from ideas to behaviors, because I talk about a positive approach to conducting, and the only way you can be positive is if you just kind of lead people into new behaviors.
The 1s are going to conduct. The A's are going to watch. These are the things that the A's are going to watch for. The hand position. Is there a little bit of space between the fingers?
Conducting in the U.S. is, it's unique to U.S. We conduct kind of a certain way, we approach it a certain way.
Gentle words are to the soul, and
their response immediately was just so layered. They understood the idea, they understood the behaviors that moved toward it. I mean, there was brilliant thinking going on. One of the words in the piece Hukutula means fulfillment. What is fulfillment? Fulfillment is not, it's not something that's defined by anything externally. It is all inside ourselves. We have more respect for ourselves when we treat others respectfully, because people are going to mirror what we give them. And when we treat people with respect, there's a chance that you're going to get their best respect back. That kind of world where everyone treats the others with respect is going to be a better world. It's going to lead us to a place where we can each be fulfilled. And that's what I think A Voice for Peace does.
I think that often aspirations are expressed in music. When people are going through rough times, it's often their music that inspires them to a brighter future. I think that music can also help people express their pain, and there's a kind of catharsis there. Music helps people remember their history, but primarily people are able to often sing about things that it's not so easy to speak about. It has a more direct effect. Its impact is greater and lasting. The song, not just the words, express something of a people, gives dignity, identity, apart from the inspiration music obviously can give.
What does peace mean to you? Huh? Usalama, yes! That's even better. Even better, thank you. What does peace mean to you? Happiness! Wow! Happiness! What does peace mean to you? Joy! Joy! What does peace mean to you? Someone say something. Now! Every human is the same at heart. The reason I say that is I asked them a very simple question, what peace meant to them. And the answers they gave, the responses, well, you know, they're exactly the same that I would get anywhere else in any part of the world. How many of you know when the World Peace Day is? World Peace Day. Nilini? 21st. Right, Monday. So the World Peace Day is on 21st of September, which is next week. So we've got this song that is originally South African. It's in Zulu. And the song is Ubutula. Now, Ubutula is a Zulu word which means peace. It means peace. Now, the song is very easy, and by the end of the day, you all will be great singers of this song.
You know, while we were in Kakuma, first of all, that was an experience I've never had in my life. You know, I've never been a refugee. I have never known what circumstances they have experienced. And then we went to Kakuma, and I saw this multitude of people. I mean, the choir we worked with was just 400. But we were told that there is 200,000 people in there.
The main challenge that refugees face in Kenya, it's not just Kenya, it's around the world, it's the length of the refugee situation. In the past, you had conflicts, and then people would find themselves in refugee situation for a period of time, 3, 4, 5 years. But today you have refugees who find themselves in that situation for 17, 20 years. You have refugees who have been here in Kenya for more than 20 years, 25 years for some of them, whether in Kakuma or Dadaab, the 2 refugee camps. So it's the length of that situation and the absence of prospect, the absence of hope, the absence of light at the end of the tunnel.
I looked at them and thought, you know, they are in this area and they cannot be anywhere else. They can't leave the camp, they can't go back to their homes. And as soon as we started singing this song, my eyes locked with so many of them at several instances. Their response to the music, the moment we started teaching the song, you know, Maureen and I sang for them one line as we introduced the song, and they were just like struck. They were like, wow. And they were all just so eager to learn this piece of music.
Music is probably the most natural expression of a culture. And when people listen to other people's music, there is always a positive reaction. In Kakuma, you have, probably 15 different nationalities. So you have 15 different cultures, and within these nationalities, and if you take the South Sudanese, you have several different cultures.
Kakuma, we call it a peaceful place, a peaceful area to live, and also we don't call it a refugee camp, we call it a home.
Whatever that is bringing them into this camp, it's all about the violence. It's all about lack of peace in their country. So when I hear it for the first time, I just look at the writing and I hear the sound. I say, I'll do it because I want the whole world to hear me speak of peace.
I know we are being extremely ambitious, but I feel that there's no better time that we need to rally the world in one voice for peace than now.
I think the conversations are going to have to happen around it. If it's a one-day event, if they sing Ukatula and it's over, maybe it won't do much, but it'll make them aware for one day, and that's great. But if there are some conversations that occur because of it, who knows where those conversations lead. Last night, I woke up in the middle of the night and I checked my phone and there was this video that had just been posted of Ukatula. And there in the middle of the night, I'm just taken to tears. And I don't know why. I don't get it. I mean, it's just a song, but it takes me there. The next day, you know, when I'm making those decisions about how I'm going to respond to things, you know, am I going to move toward tension or am I going to move toward release? Those moments, I believe, take me to the right place, you know, 10 times out of 11, instead of 1 time out of 11. And we believe that. And that's why we're pursuing this effort so assertively, because we believe that individual decisions are the key to us finding peace. But there's a chance that somebody in that's choir with them is going to, you know, 2 years from down the road, remember that. And that 6-year-old kid will remember. It'll become a part of their life story.
My hope is that it starts a chain reaction. Music has always been a community thing. It's not a one-person thing. It's an everyone thing. Everyone joins in, everyone participates, everyone learns from it. And you can pass it on from one person to another. I hope it does change people in my country and we start to work together, because I know that's the only way we can grow and be better as Kenyans. I hope it does the same to the rest of Africa, and I hope it does the same to the world.
We left a challenge to them. We asked them to sing this song and think about what they can individually do to bring about peace in the world. We asked them that on that day they should sing this song and think about peace. That would be my only request. People talk about peace. Leave everything else and talk about peace.